Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining for day number 4, which I believe is radio. So you can see here initially I was kind of sketching out a robot with like an FM frequency thing on his forehead with a little antenna. I was kind of doing him, rocking out with an air guitar and stuff like that. But I decided to go something a little more with like the quintessential, 80s rollerblade beach bum with a big boom box next to his, his face on his shoulder there. And I even sketched in the old cyberpunk sunglasses, with the slits and stuff like that. And so I decided to go this route a little more just due to the fact that it sung true to a little more of my generation, the old massive boom boxes that you had to carry around. And, back in my day, as I make it sound like I'm ancient, but back in my day, that's the radio was a lot more prevalent in a person's life than, you know, these other things. I mean, you still had your cassettes and yeah, CDs were starting to become a big thing, but you had your cassettes with your favorite bands and stuff. But the main way that you kind of experienced or listened to new music was through the radio. Whenever a new thing came out, I guess you could go buy a cassette and stuff, but there's always a risk with just buying a random cassette and hoping that something good comes on it. So yeah, so obviously the radio was a big part of my life growing up. I was one of these kids that if you heard a cool song on the radio, you had to run and put a cassette tape in and hit record so that you could remember it or listen to it later, kind of a thing. So I decided to go this route just due to the fact that it sung true to me a little more. So that's the end of that. So let's get into the backstory and powers of this hero who we are going to call Robo Disco. So his backstory. This is humanity's first attempt at AI. Developed to help our civilization improve its progress, this robot was downloaded with all our digital data and asked how we could improve. The AI brain processed the 75 Googleplex bytes of data, and it took the brain about 245 days to examine all the information. After it had completed, it then asked its creators to make him a body and follow his example. Potentially fearing the AI's actions against humanity, they took a step of faith and built the brain its body and observed its actions. It immediately took to the beachside roads in California and lived a life of a beach bum. When it was asked what it was doing and how we could better improve ourselves, the robot simply replied from a famous quote from Bill and Ted: "Be excellent to each other." So now let's get into the powers. The powers are pretty basic, but let's just run through them real quick here. Powers. As a glimmering jewel of humanity's achievement, the AI computer is the absolute best, able to process vast amounts of information in mere seconds. Also, with its new body, it has basic enhanced abilities as a robot. It's increased strength, speed, and durability. So really, powers-wise, it doesn't have anything hugely special. It's just a basic robot. But obviously, the computer that's running the body, the brain, is obviously the crowning jewel of this hero's abilities. Is being able to process information extremely fast and having all the newest tech built into it and kind of things. It's able to obviously manage its day-to-day activities through its enhancements and so. But there is Robo Disco. Thanks for tuning in.